So the Lakers' offseason plan and players are looking to target has been leaked by ESPN's Bobby Marks, and he highlighted some of the rumored players he's heard that the Lakers are going to go after. It's an interesting set of guys, so I wanted to go over who each player is, my thoughts on if they make sense for LA, and also some other players he should consider trying to sign as well. And very quickly before we get into it, if you want to see more interesting NBA content just like this, be sure to drop a like and subscribe, as I really appreciate our guys' support. So for the first of 5 players Marks talked about was DJ Augustine. I would love this signing as I think DJ would be a great fit for LA as either a starter or a backup. He's proven to come up big in the playoffs, and this would be very useful for LA to make another deep playoff run, and while he's not very tall, he's definitely speedy and can get to the rim with ease where he's a good finisher around the rim. Not to mention he's also an excellent shooter who can also play make for others as well, and he can easily give the Lakers a quick 12 points and 5 assists per game in about 25 to 30 minutes per game or so. He would be a great backup option if the Lakers aren't able to re-sign Rondo, and I would love to see him join the Lakers on something like a 2-year, $10 million deal. But if he's looking for a long-term deal, the Lakers should probably pass since he's already 32 years old, and most smaller point guards don't age well with the exception of some like Chris Paul. Next up, Bobby Marks also mentioned Harkless was a target for the Lakers. I think this would be a great signing as well, since it seems the Lakers never really had a true wing defender this season. Green, KCP, and Bradley are all very good perimeter defenders, don't get me wrong, but they never had the true size and frame to match up well against someone like, say, Kawhi Leonard. Harkless is much better equipped to do so, and he would be a solid signing for Lakers as a 3-and-D guy, and not to mention he's also a pretty good 3-point shooter as well. While he can't really do much else besides that, the Lakers don't really need him to do anything else, so hopefully the Lakers can sign him for cheap if he's trying to get a ring, but other teams may be willing to offer him more, so I really wouldn't get my hopes up too much on this signing. Next up on the list of players he mentioned was Nerlins Noel. He is one of my favorite players on this list and arguably the most underrated. Noel has bounced back after a disappointing start to his career, as he kind of bounced around roles after he got displaced by Okafor and eventually Embiid in Philly, but he has carved out a nice role for himself as a backup 5 with the Thunder. He has shown that he has all the tools and ability to be a starter, and I think he would be an amazing addition for LA, especially if they lose McGee and or Howard in free agency. Noel is an elite rim protector who also has quick hands in getting steals and playing the passing lanes, and he also sets strong picks and is a good roller to the rim. The pick and rolls between him and LeBron or Rondo would be nasty, and he could potentially get a chance to be a starter on a championship level team, where he could then boost his stock for next offseason. Marks also mentioned Jeff Teague was on the Lakers targets list, and I didn't really like this one when I heard it at first. I do think Teague is a bit overrated, as while he was a starter with the Wolves last season and then traded to the Hawks, he then became a backup and he was not that great. He has had a pretty steep decline as of late as he shot poorly from the field with Atlanta, and he doesn't look as quick as he used to be. However, all things considered, he would be pretty decent as a backup point guard, and there's a chance he can get back to his old form at least in terms of shooting, playing off of guys like LeBron and AD. If Rondo does in fact leave LA, Teague would be a solid choice for the Lakers to consider as a backup point guard option, but I think there may be cheaper alternatives such as Jeremy Lin and Trey Burke. And the final player Bobby Marks mentioned was Jordan Clarkson, so the return of JC would be so fun to see, as he would bring a quick scoring burst off the bench. He was great for the Jazz this past season, and he really helped shoulder some of the scoring load when Bogdanovic got injured. For the Lakers, he can be that 6th man who can get a bucket when the Lakers need one, and I could see him averaging somewhere around 15 points per game or so. Not to mention he's also generally improved his efficiency and shot selection from the last time he was with LA, and of course while he is still prone to taking a few bad shots, he is much better now and it's worth the trade-off when he does get hot at the other times. So if he's willing to take somewhere around $8 million a year to win a chip, the Lakers should definitely try to get him, but if not, which I think he'll likely try to get a bigger contract elsewhere, the Lakers should probably pass for now on bringing back Clarkson. I also wanted to touch upon my thoughts and ideas on some other options for the Lakers, and realistically, they're probably not going to get guys like Joe Harris, Davis Bertans, Jeremy Grant, or Danilo Gallinari based on cap space. These guys are just too expensive at this point, and the Lakers simply won't be able to afford them. On the other hand, some realistic options could be trading for Derrick Rose, signing DeMarcus Cousins, Tristan Thompson if cheap, Jay Crowder, and Paul Millsap. The Lakers have been rumored to be even more connected to Rose this offseason in a trade, and I would love to see him with the Lakers. He will be an excellent fit, and his playmaking and scoring will be huge as either a spot starter or mainly as a 6th man, especially if Rondo leaves this offseason. Also, he does have experience playing with LeBron on the Cavs, but he may be pretty costly in a trade. It may take trading someone like Kuzma to get Rose, and I'm not 100% sure that it will be worth it, as I think Kuzma has more value than D Rose, since Kuz is a younger asset with more potential. For Cousins, we all know his connection with the Lakers this past season, and I think LA will give him another veteran's minimum contract to prove himself. If he's fully healthy and even 70% of his former self, he can fill in Morris's old role if Morris decides to leave this offseason for a bigger role, which I definitely think is possible. We'll see if Cousins can pull through this time and stay healthy, and I think he provides another level to the Lakers offense if he can do just that. Tristan Thompson may also be a solid option if Howard and McGee leave and LA can't get Noel, as he does have some familiarity playing with LeBron. Signing with LA and winning the chip can give him the opportunity to boost his stock again and go back next offseason to get a bigger deal. He will be a solid double-double threat and play likely around 20 to 25 minutes per game, and his rebounding could definitely be useful if Howard and McGee do in fact leave this offseason. Crowder is also a solid 3 and D wing who has experience playing with LeBron, though I'm not sure the Lakers will be able to afford him given his play with the Heat this past season. I would be surprised if he commands something like $10+ million a year contract, and that would be too much for the Lakers to match. Millsap is also a great vet who can play minutes at both the 4 and sometimes as a super small ball 5, and I think he could be pretty cheap if he's looking to get a quick ring. Specifically, I think he would be great in Morris's old role if he leaves, and I think he could end up being a steal for the Lakers if he's on something like a veteran's minimum contract or just slightly more. Not to mention, as I said in my last video I did on potential Kuzma trade destinations, which you should go check out, card at the top, I would love to see LA trade for Kelly Oubre as well. I think he would be a great fit with LA, as I think he's essentially a more efficient Kuzma. But we'll see what happens, and the Lakers have a very exciting offseason ahead of them, and I'm super interested to see what moves they make. So that's a wrap. Thank you guys all for watching. If you guys enjoyed this video and want to see more daily NBA content just like this, be sure to drop a like and subscribe, and also be sure to turn on post notifications so you can stay updated on when my next video will be coming out. Also, be sure to follow me on Instagram and hit me up if you want to talk about basketball or business. Just drop a comment down below on my photo or DM me, and I'll definitely try to get back to most of you guys there. Drop a comment down below on which players you want to see the Lakers sign. It could be players on this list or players you had in mind. Let me know as you throw out comments. I'm definitely interested to see what you guys have to say here as well. So with all that being said, once again, thank you guys all for watching, and hopefully I will see you in the next video. Peace.